All right, fam. So before we get out of here, real quick, Tim, bro. I always like to do this part where I ask my guests on the show, man. Like, if you could just lead the people with one, just one piece of advice, man. One thing what I call food for thought. What would
Yeah.
be that one gem that you want to lead the people something to think about? What would that be?
It's something that I've been just really, really meditating on lately, bro. And it's just like this law of elevation, and which
Yeah,
means that elevation without purpose leads to confusion. Promotion
yeah,
without preparation leads to failure. You are not
mm,
elevated so that they can clap for you. You are
mm,
elevated to fulfill assignment. Elevation is not about higher status. It's about a
mm,
higher purpose.
mm.
Elevation requires a higher purpose. And if you're going to get to that higher purpose or higher level, you got to be a
That's so
higher person.
that's so good. That's so good. I can't think of a better way to end it right there, bro. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Quite literally. Will Tidwell, a younger
I
gentleman.
wasn't. I wish I didn't have this big heart. People just do nothing but hurt me. Anybody can dream the dream. Anybody can have a goal, but see,
You're gonna be a neighborhood hero. You just keep shining, young king. Hey, what's going on, man? This is Will Z Tidwell with Speak Up Z, and you are now tuned into the episode of Speak Up Z, the podcast. And the podcast will talk about real things with real people. Everything from life to business to mental health and everything else in between. And as you can see from that intro, man, I got a very, very special guest today. Man, somebody that actually grew up in a near neighborhood just like me, do a lot of the same things just like I do, but just doing them at a national, global level. My guy, man, Tim Campbell. What's going on, baby? You good?
Z, what's good, man? Thanks for coming on. We've been trying to get this conversation planned for a while, so I'm glad we finally here.
Me too, bro. Me too, man. We've been trying to do this for so long, but you know how it go. Timing is everything, and we got to do it when it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy we here,
Exactly.
bro.
Exactly.
But yeah, man. But like I was saying, bro, like a lot of people don't know this, bro. You grew up on Wolf, right?
Exactly.
You
Yep.
grew up on Wolf, bro. I grew up right there on Right Avenue and Rice, right by Schiller, a couple blocks away from you, fam. And
Yep.
my mama, we used to actually go to the Kingdom Hall right there on Wolf Street, right where you grew up at.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Yep.
it's crazy that not only did we grow up in the same part of town and they're practically from the same neighborhood, but like we actually do a lot of the same similar work. And so when people come onto the show, I like to ask them this to give me kind of a 30-second pitch. So how would you kind of like describe your expertise and your brand to other people that didn't know you? How would you kind of describe to them who you are and what you do? If for people that don't know.
So of course, as presented, Tim Campbell, I would just say that I'm a truly a leadership advocate, a community advocate,
Yeah.
and also a fatherhood advocate. And I know that's a new one, but it's one that I've been really, really, diving deep into lately since, the arrival of the little one. But I
Mhm.
do a lot of different things. Like Z said, grew up right on Wolf Street. Z, he really telling half the story. His pops actually ran a barbershop.
Still do.
Barbershop was
Still do.
so popular that literally people would be outside waiting to get haircuts. And he had an old truck, and he used to have some barbers in there, man. But you wouldn't even know he owned the place or how humble he was, and just how he moved and everything. So I think his pops probably cut my hair probably once or twice.
Yeah.
Um, and every time I went in there, it was just great vibes, man. But I never knew that he had a little one out there too, striving to be great one day. So also an international advocate. I lived in West Africa for 2.5 years,
Yeah.
where I was able to work with malnourished children, malnourished women, and everything to their health exact. I also would just consider myself a big brother. And I know that's a term that's been used a lot, but anytime that I could help a homie out, big homie or little homie, little sis, big sis, I just try to be that voice and that
Yeah.
advocate for
Yeah.
them in that situation.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. I think that's the perfect way to describe you, bro. Is like you got your hands in a lot of buckets. But like you said, first and foremost, what was the most important right now is being a father lately, right?
Yeah,
And for the rest of your life, right? Gonna be
yeah,
a important, part of who you are. But man, I wanted to get you on this show, bro, because you're somebody that understands what it feels like to have multiple passions, to be a person
mhm,
that has multiple things that he's great at. And you know, we hear this thing where they talk about like, you know, focus on one thing, right? Be passionate about one thing, because if you're too spread too thin, you can't give focus to that one thing and something may fall through the cracks, all that stuff, right? And I
Yeah.
believe that to a certain extent. But to those young leaders out there, or even some seasoned leaders out there that are multi-passionate, just like me and you, bro.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to those people that have multiple things that they're interested in, multiple things that they love, multiple things that they're good at, but they can't quite figure out where to start or what to focus on? Like, what
Yeah.
advice would you give somebody like a young Tim and a young Z, bro?
Advice I would give to somebody like that, I would just tell them, we oftentimes lump in the words purpose, passion, and mission. We lump
Mm-hmm.
them in. It's so easy to lump them in because they all sound the same and similar, but they're actually not the same thing. Your
Mm-hmm.
purpose is different from your mission sometimes, and your mission sometimes is going to be different from your passion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your passion might not make money. Your purpose may make you the money. Your mission might just be a lifelong journey.
No bull.
And they all different things, bro. What I wanted to do right out of college, bro, I wanted to be paid for being me,
Yeah.
right? And because
Yeah.
I wanted to thin those lines between my purpose and my passion, bro. So
Mm-hmm.
I've probably been like 75% successful at that, but the other 25%, bro, yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. And that's what I call mission, because mission is just another word for journey. And while I'm on this journey, bro, I'm coming into different avenues and different people. I'm doing different things, right? But to
Yeah.
me, the most important thing out of the purpose, the mission, and the passion is the purpose. And I just say the purpose because that's something that I couldn't choose.
Yeah.
God gives you the purpose,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I didn't choose my purpose. It was already here before I even got here, right?
100%.
Now along that way of living out my purpose, alongside it came passion, right? Came passion, but that's something I chose, right? The things that I'm
Yeah.
passionate about, things I'm not passionate about, things I like, things I don't like. But the
Yeah.
purpose has always been above me.
Yeah.
I'm more connected to the mission than any other three of them because the mission is the journey, and I feel it every day.
Yeah. That's so good, bro. And you know, most people that have accomplished a lot of the things you have accomplished, bro. You know, like you said, going international, speaking locally, speaking in the state, speaking on a national level, right? Going above being in America. Like most people would not be willing to admit that, man. I'm still figuring out who I am every single day. Most people wouldn't be willing to say that.
I'm still a student, dog.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, bro, at one point in my life, when I'm winning awards, I'm winning community of this and national this and leader of this, all of that. Sometimes, bro, you can get you. And it was just me being insecure about who I was, but I tried to give off this facade like I had it all figured out until I realized how heavy it was to try to carry that all the time. You feel me? And then when people think you got it all figured out, and they really have no idea that you struggling and figuring it out like everybody else. Yeah. So I was gonna say this for later, but you kind of led me right into it, bro. There's a lot of people that like we said are passionate, just like me and you, but they can't quite figure out what they want to do and who they are.
Yeah.
If you saw that little homie or that big homie dealing with that, what would you tell them, bro? What would you lean in and whisper in their ear to tell them when they're just trying to figure out who they are in this world?
And I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of people don't know that over 70% of our life problems become relevant because of identity issues. We don't know who we are.
No, for real.
We don't know who we are going to be. We're trying to run away from who we were. And identity plays a big part in all of this, bro. But what I would tell somebody that's struggling with identity, it's not about the titles and the things and the cars and the material and the glory that you can add to your life that gives you this sense of self-awareness. It's not that. It's all about what you can take away from your life and still be the person that you are. That's how you know this is who I am. So it's not a addition, it's subtraction. And I had to learn the art of subtraction. When I was in Africa, bro, they even changed my name, bro. My name is Yaya, right? That's totally different from Tim Campbell, right? So I'm over here. My name is Yaya. I don't got the Cadillac I was driving. I don't got the food that I was eating. I don't got the shower that I was bathing in. I don't even got the soap I was using, bro. I don't even got the the community that I can go out and say, oh, I see bro every day, or I see this person every day. I don't even got that community, that ritual of just life. I'm in this total foreign area, bro. And I was able to come out of that with more sense of self, not because of what I added to my life when I was in Africa, because of the things that was taken away. And when you get to your sum zero, your bottom zero of who you are, bro.
Yeah.
The only thing you figured out that you've really just removed is ego.
That's it.
That's it.
And like what I just say, that was the only thing holding me back was my ego.
Yeah. And it's so heavy, bro. The ego is such a heavy thing, bro. And I'm not an advocate. I'm not an anti-ego person, because I think that it's used for a tool, right? I think that the ego is something that either you control it or it controls you. However, I do think that the ego has its place. I think that the ego has its place, but it has to be up under your control. And when I was in Africa, bro, like I literally used to look up at the stars tonight, bro. I'm literally sitting in around a cereal bowl. It's like a large cereal bowl. Let's say the same one that Craig was eating with on Friday. I'm in this large cereal bowl, bro, and it's 8 of us. It's 8 of us, bro, and we got our hands in the same cereal bowl, eating the same rice. So, and the sweat coming off our same heads, bro. It's kind of like this effect of like, bro, this experience don't give a damn about who Tim Campbell is. This experience don't give a damn about Wolf Street. It don't give a damn about the roads that grew from concrete. This experience is put here for you so you can show the other people the things that God can do. It ain't even about you. And so when I really got there, bro, and I removed a lot of the things and the people out of my life, bro, man, I was such in a powerful point. But then I thought that it was okay for me. But when I got back to the United States, everybody like, oh, you different, bro. Oh, yeah, you a little different. You moving a little different. I had to go through that for like 2 years of people like, oh, this ain't the same Tim. Oh, this ain't Wolf Street Tim. Or you feel me? Like, bro, Wolf Street is it's an environment. It's not a destination.
That's it.
And the thing about the destinations is, it's constantly evolving.
100%. Or you're gonna get left behind. Or you're gonna get left behind.
You're gonna get left behind, bro. Like you're a content creator, so you know what worked yesterday, it might not work today, and you got to be able to adjust. And the same thing works with your journey, bro. If I would have came back from Africa, still like, oh yeah, I'm Wolf Street Tim, I'm neighborhood Tim, and I'm my daddy this, and my mama was this, and man, I would definitely go right back to that environment, bro. And I wouldn't be able to show nobody what I said, about elevation and the reason for elevation.
Yep. That's so good. So what I took from that as a person that used to struggle with identity is that, man, you are so much than who you currently are right now. And if you're willing to strip yourself down to the simplest being of who you are, you will realize that there's so much more to who you are.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's what sometimes I think we struggle to we forget that, right? And we think that we got to have it all figured out. And it's okay to say, you know what, I don't. But if I'm willing to go out here and experience these things and step out of what I'm used to, I can figure out more about myself than I ever knew.
And that's a smart point, bro, because it's kind of like the worst place to be mentally is in a place where you have it all figured out.
That's good.
That has to be one of the most miserable places.
That's good.
That has to be one of the most miserable places, bro, that you can be when you have it figured out, bro. 90%.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that though?
And I just say that because, bro, the joys in life for me are the things that are over the hill, not the things that are on my side of the hill, right? It's the mysteries, it's the curiosity, it's the things that I can't see. Life lives in 2 realms, the seen and the unseen. It's the it's the things that works out of the unseen, bro, that presents itself in my scene that makes me happy, that makes me excited, the things that I didn't see coming, right? I hate surprises, right?
Me too.
But I love when God puts people, places, and things in my life, bro, that I did not see coming, right? Now, if I could, see these things coming, right, what joy would it bring me, bro? Like when my son was being born, I didn't know what he was gonna look like, what he was gonna be like. You got a queen over there. You didn't know, what they personality. You got all these questions, right? What is that experience of fatherhood without all of those questions, bro?
Yeah. What if we already knew everything?
What if we already knew everything, bro? And I think that it feels good to us to portray this image that we do know everything, right? We can get on podcasts, we can put our drip on, we can say this and we can say that, right, bro? But when I give people advice, bro, I'm only giving you what God has allowed me to give you, right? I can't tell you how to do it. And I think that in this culture and this society we live in, bro, we have advised ourselves to death. We have advised ourselves to death, bro. It's so much advice out
So
there
much
right
information.
now,
So much
It's-
information.
where is the I figured it out feeling? Like, when my daddy used to wake up in the morning, bro, he really didn't know. He didn't have YouTube. He didn't have, Twitter quotes and bro, he had to really get up and figure it out. It
Oh,
wasn't
cool.
sign up for my master class. It wasn't none of that going on, bro.
That's
And
good.
I
That's
think
good.
that made me appreciate his journey even more.
That's good, bro. That's good. And it's crazy. You led me into my next question because
get
we
it.
talk about master classes. When you talk about it's so much information out here. You also have a lot of platforms where you give out certain information, right?
Yep.
You have the Speaking Academy, right? You've led programs and over was it Ghana or was it Gambia?
Gambia,
right?
Yep.
You've been an award-winning community activist, right? You've done all of these things. But let me ask you this. What was the one thing you believe that every speaker, every leader, every nonprofit CEO that you work with, every teacher, every administrator, whoever it is, what is one thing you feel like that certain people need to unlearn if they really want to be effective in whatever space that they're in, that you work with? What's something you feel like people need to unlearn when you talk about so much information being out here? What's something they need to unlearn?
I would say one thing to unlearn, and I tell myself it's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites. So I'll just shameless plug. My favorite author is Jiddu Krishnamurti, Giddu Krishnamurti. Changed my life. And one thing that he mentions a lot in his books is the basis of life is the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. The pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. And in that chapter, he goes into detail about, canceling out the idea of a finish, because he's basically, he said life is here's and theirs, right? You're here now, and you got your idea is that I want to be there, right? And when you get there, then that there becomes here, and you just create another there in your head, and it's endless, right? It's endless, bro. And so I think that we think that when we get to that calendar date, when we get to that diploma, when we get to that 6 figures, when we arrive, bro, that everything is gonna be all right. But bro, Biggie Small said it the best, man. More money, more problems. And he just used the word money, right? But more access, more problems, more resources, more problems, more destiny, more problems, more faith, more problems. Even the Bible say, those with much faith comes much grief.
Yeah.
And I think grandma used to, grandma used to always talk about that, but I never really understood what she really meant. But bro, we got to cancel out the glorification of the destination. We got to cancel the glorification of the destination, bro. That while you should be striving, right, to get to a certain particular point, I'm not an advocate for making the destination more important than the journey.
Yeah.
Because the journey, at the end of the day, bro, the journey, bro, is what is the gift.
Yeah.
The destination is just a name. It's just like this. It's a box, or it's a piece of paper, or it's something symbolic. But the journey itself, bro, is where you really got the wisdom. You really got the lessons. You really ate the noodles. You really put hot sauce on them. You really went to sleep with 2 blankets on because the heat was off. You really went up Saturday morning, went to Goodwill and looking for clothes. Like, to talk about Tim and where I'm at now and where I'm at and how I feel successful is bro. I'm, like I said before, I'm still figuring it out, dog. Every day, bro. Like, and I try I challenge myself every day, bro, to focus on the journey and not the destination. Because when I run through the paper at the end, bro, I might as well just run the curve, because it's gonna be another race that's waiting on me to run, bro, and it's not gonna stop. And as you know, especially as a father, as a mentor, as a public figure, bro, it don't stop.
No, it
I
don't
got
stop.
I got a boy right now, man. He's striving, he doing this thing, and he like, yeah, bro, you here, you there, you doing your thing. I said, bro, be easy and be patient where you at, bro, because when you get here, bro, it don't stop.
It don't stop. It actually, like you just said, I'm not gonna say it get worse, but it becomes more demanding.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it right now. It's a Sunday afternoon. Most people kicked up with their feet, with their shoes off, taking a nap. We doing shows.
Yep.
Because that's just because we've built such a platform that where now I have to deliver this every week, even when I want to be taking a nap right now.
Yep.
It's just what comes with it, bro. And that's so good, bro, because but you know what I'm realizing though, man, some people are going through so much stuff. They think that getting to the next thing is what's going to make them feel better.
Yeah,
that's going to be the thing that heals them. That's going to be the thing that makes them feel whole.
That's good, bro. That's good.
You see what I'm saying? Until they get there, and they realize they feel just as empty as they did before.
Yep.
But now they just got a little bit nicer stuff.
That's it.
That's right. Or they got a few more awards.
It's a guy on YouTube. It's and the YouTube title is "Homeless Man with Wisdom," and it's this black man that approached his car, and he went viral a couple times.
I remember that. I remember they had that real scratchy voice.
He had that real scratchy voice, bro. And he was telling them, like, you know, you in a hurry. Yeah. That's my favorite part of that product. He says, you in a hurry. And you got that in a hurry face. Yeah. And that, you know, that in a hurry face is aggressive, right? Yeah. It don't really give you the eye contact you need. It probably take away from being a real father. Like that in a hurry face and energy is dangerous, bro. And when he picked up on that from the guy in the car, you know, he really didn't have nothing to say. He said, you know, be careful with this one because he in a hurry, you know. But he said, you know, when you get there, that money, that fame, you know, you're going to be disappointed. And that's one of my favorite quotes, bro, as far as just like video captures. You in a hurry. And, you know, sometimes I'm in a hurry, big dog. Like, I'm in a hurry, bro.
Me too. Me too, bro.
I'm living this life like, bro, it's like I don't got another year or another 10 years on it. Like I'm living this life like nothing is promised, which in a sense I should, right? Because me and you, we started behind the mark, right? So when you start behind the mark, you feel like you got to run faster.
100%. 100%.
But reality is, bro, yeah, you can run faster all you want, bro, but nothing supersedes the purpose.
That's good.
Prime says nothing bigger than the program. Like nothing supersedes the purpose, bro. So you can run fast as you want, right? But oftentimes, the faster you run, most oftentimes you're running from something.
Yeah, you're running from something.
You know, I believe that every man should know what he's running to and know what he's running from to really know what kind of man he is.
That's so good. Ooh, that's good. I gotta cut that. I'm gonna tell Tamika to cut this part. We about 23 minutes in. Okay, I'm gonna remember to cut this part. Okay, that's good. That's good, bro. And this is kind of a similar question, but not really, right? Because when you're in these rooms with these nonprofit leaders and these community leaders and these teachers and even the students, right?
Yeah.
This might be kind of this. You might answer this the same way, but I feel like you're not. What's one like major mind shift or key principle that you try to really get across to these principals and to these teachers and to these leaders and to these community advocates, whoever it is, right? What's one thing that you really try to get across to these people that you feel like is universal, that no matter where you are, Arkansas, wherever you are, these people need to learn, need to understand in order to help our kids, to help their organizations, to help their businesses, for the kids to help their community and their school? What is something you try to get across to them that you feel like is always on your heart? Is there anything?
I would definitely say, absolutely, bro. One of the biggest things that I try to get across, and I deal with anything that I speak on, Z, I'm dealing with it with myself as well, right?
Me too,
so
bro.
I guess that's my.
Hold on, I didn't mean to cut you off. But why is that? Because people don't get that. People think that when we talk about these things we talk about, we're trying to come off as perfect or like we know it all. But then I tell people all the time, no, I'm not talking about what I'm talking about to sound like a professional know-it-all. Is because I can relate to it. Yeah. My pain is in that.
My pain is in that. And I love it. I'm gonna answer both, bro. But to hit you on this first one, when I make my Facebook statuses, bro, some of them might do great numbers, some of them don't. I really don't even care. But bro, that's for me. I was talking to me this morning, right? When I woke up and I said what I said, bro, I was talking to me. And you know, there's a famous quote, and I'm not sure it's who it's from, but he said, if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do no harm. If there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do no harm. And I love that, bro, because it's like, if you're not working on yourself,
Yeah.
if you're not mastering who you are as a person, bro,
Yeah.
who are you to
Yeah.
get on a podcast, to get on a microphone, to get in front of anybody and tell them anything, right?
Right.
You know, Kendrick Lamar is my favorite rapper, and he really channels that, bro. Like, he really channels that. I'm talking to me, right? I made this album for me. I hope
Yeah.
y'all like it.
Yeah. Hope you can
But
relate
you know,
to it.
I hope you can relate to it, but this is letters to myself. Tupac also did a great job of that, right? Everybody can say he was a hypocrite, but really he told you in his music the battle that he was facing, bro. So one of the things that I try to get off to, you know, anybody that I'm talking to, bro, in my RAM is usually the problem is not the problem. Usually the problem is our attitude about the problem.
Yeah.
And I like that so much, bro, because most of the time, bro, problems, bro, they're gonna be there, and sometimes they're almost even irrelevant because they're so omnipresent, bro. The reaction to the problem, bro, is 99% more important than the actual problem.
100%.
And if we can train actions and train people to really look at, you know, how they respond to things versus the things themselves,
Right.
oh my God, bro, we are living a whole different world. If we can just really, really look at reactions and responses versus actual things themselves, bro. And I like that piece, bro, because me growing up, I thought a lot of the problem was me. I thought a lot of the problem was me when I was in the second grade. You know, everybody know the emphasis story. I said I wanted to be a Crip, and you know, everybody else around me seen a problem with that, and I didn't. I didn't. Z. I'm like, oh, what's the uproar about, right? And everybody else, you know, they snatched me off stage. They're like, oh yeah, your 10 minutes of fame is over with, sir. Like, you done
Right now.
Yeah, it's over with.
Yeah.
And so, but me, I was still trying to figure out what the problem was. But I think with the lack of experience and wordplay, now I'm like, okay, I said I wanted to be a Crip, but really I meant a leader. But really I meant an advocate. But really I meant a big brother. Really I meant somebody with power and principle. Somebody that really respects their territory and their environment to take care enough of it so other people's gonna appreciate it. I really meant that, bro. But it sums itself down into what I seen.
What you saw on Wolf Street. None but Wolf Street Crips. That's everywhere.
None but Wolf Street Crips, bro. But I didn't. My mama was a Crip. My dad was a Crip. How can I see them as bad or as somebody that, you know, the world doesn't really uphold highly? You know, so I didn't see a problem with it, bro. But now looking back, right, that wasn't the problem. It was people's attitudes toward the problem, bro. And nobody ever asked me again, what do you want to be when you grow up, to see if my answer had changed. Ain't that crazy? Nobody, bro, came up to me and said, have you thought about that? Have you really, really looked at what you just said? Nobody said that, bro.
Why do you think that is?
Too much focus on the problem. The problem was that he said something that embarrassed everybody. He said something that we feel like, you know, the school doesn't represent. We had visitors there. We had career professionals there. That's not something that we shadow or we cast a great light on. So let's do away with the kid, which we see as the problem, right? But nobody really paid attention to my personal progress and my personal growth enough to come back around and say, what did you why did you say that? What did you mean?
What you really mean? Right.
Yeah, what did you really? Nobody ever came back around to say that, bro. And you know, you yourself know this as well, Z. Bro, we have to become our own heroes. That's why we call ourselves neighborhood heroes, bro, because it's oftentimes you didn't see one.
No bull.
So, bro, but yeah, like, the problem is usually not the problem, bro. It's always usually our attitude and our reaction to the problem that's more important.
That's good, man. That's so good, bro. You know, what's you know what? A lot of people that want to speak, right? They see us in these classrooms, they see us posting these statuses where we thanking these schools for having us. And a lot of people, I'm sure, come to you and they probably come to your speaking academy and want to learn. Or if not, they just probably reach out to you personally asking how you do it, how do you get in these schools, how do you do it? So without giving too much of your sauce away, I want to kind of make it a two-part question where you can give some value to young people that want to get into the schools and do this work. And I can add my 2 cents of how I go about it. And also I want to ask you this important question of what did it take for you to find your voice and your messaging to be the speaker that you are? Because a lot of people call themselves motivational speakers, but they don't realize that that's so vague. You will probably never get booked just calling yourself that. You have to have a lane within motivational speaking and facilitation that you step into. Because prime example, when I used to watch Eric Thomas, one of my favorite speakers growing up,
For
right? When I
sure,
was
OG.
right, OG of the game, right? Les Browns of the world. We love these dudes because I love them because of their storytelling and their effectiveness. But when we watch these clips of them, we thought, oh, they just getting up there talking deep for 35, 45 minutes to an hour. But no, when you really get in the room and start to learn how this speaking stuff work, they got a whole curriculum that they put together, and they just only show you this 45-second clip of them saying something deep and philosophical.
Yep.
Because they got a lane, right? They either do life coaching, life skills, business, entrepreneurship, right? Mental health, whatever it is. They have a certain realm within speaking that they focus on in particular.
Yep.
When did you find out what your lane was when it came to youth development, teacher development, right? Community outreach. When did you find your voice in the speaking world? And what do you think helped mold that, bro? Was it going over out of the country? Was it growing up where you grew up? What do you think really helped you find your voice in the speaking world?
So I'm gonna get vulnerable in this one. I'm gonna just really get vulnerable if that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So you don't know your story until somebody else tell it to you, and I don't care what nobody says.
What you mean?
And what I mean by that is, bro, like when you're 1, 2, 3, 4, right? You don't know. I mean, you probably can feel certain things, but you don't actually know what happens to you, bro, during that time.
Yeah.
And science shows that in child development, years 1 through 4 are the most important. And as fathers, we see how important those years are.
100%.
But your
100%.
daughter and my son are not going to remember these moments, right? Unless we show them their story, whether that's via pictures, whether that's via this what happened one time, or whether that via other people, kind of commentary, how you get your nickname or certain things like that. Bro, I didn't necessarily know, right, a lot about myself, bro, until I really just looked backwards. When I say look backwards, I mean really doing a 360 and looking all the way back down the long, dark Severance Hall, bro. And so I think early on, bro, I was a very quiet kid, humble beginnings, bro. My mom was, she was pregnant with me at 15. She dropped out of school in the 8th grade, didn't complete high school. My grandma didn't complete high school. Biological father didn't complete high school, bro. So as a kid, I don't know this, Z. I don't know this, bro.
You don't know that at all.
I don't know this, bro. Whatever wisdom, knowledge, and understanding they give me, that's what I take, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
So my mom, she early on, dropped out of school. She had a really bad drug problem for a while, which later landed me in the DHS system, foster care, all of that stuff. And grandma in the church trying to do all that she could and can, but however, very poor. Ends meet, bro, wasn't even at the end, bro. We just didn't have it, bro. And so, my dad, and he happened to live smack dab in the middle of Wolf Street, literally right down the street from Crib 6 and right across the street from Centennial Park, bro. So everywhere I go, I'm almost in a danger zone, right? But as we said before, I didn't know that, right? I couldn't have knew that. So, fast forwarding it, bro, I'm still this very quiet kid, bro. Went to Dunbar Middle School. I played football, And, you know, football, we don't even do no talking. It's straight pads and it's straight hitting. So I just never was required to talk. Went to college, bro. UAPB. I still wasn't doing much talking. It wasn't until I was at UAPB and this teacher asked for us to do this auto bio on ourselves and just kind of make it a page long, right?
Yeah.
And her name was Dr. Owens, and she was releasing the class, and as she was releasing the class, she said, "Nah, young man, come here."
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's time. She said, "No." I said, "Come here." So I walked over and see what she said, and I said, "What you need, Dr. Owens?" She said, "What do I need?" "Well, you ain't been coming to class. I got to tell you to pull your pants up. I don't even want to go down to the rest of the things that I'm observing about you. But from reading this paper that you turned in, sir, you don't have any choices. Sir, you cannot go back home to Wolf Street. Sir, you don't have many options. You're on the only option that you probably got." Bro, and after that conversation, I left that classroom, bro, cold as ice. Because nobody had ever looked at me. And in a way, bro, I'm telling her my story and she telling it back to me. But from a future standpoint, to say, you can let this be the end if you want to, right? But I see more and I need more out of you. I didn't miss that lady class for the rest of the semester. I passed her class with the first A I had in college, bro. And that was just because, bro, she told me my story that I didn't even see yet. And so, fast forward, bro, I graduate college and my mom comes to me after being addicted to, various hard drugs, bro. I won't even get into the names of them. She comes to me at graduation and said, "You've inspired me so much, son, that, I'll never do drugs again." And at that moment, Z, we enjoyed a very, very emotional moment together, bro. And I was overwhelmed. I was overjoyed, but I knew right then, Z, it's something else God got for me. Because if I can graduate college, do something just as simple as thousands of people do, and the very barrier between me and my mom's relationship can be canceled out because I didn't give up.
Yeah.
Oh, God got something else for me, bro. You talking about a woman that's dropped out of school in the 8th grade, bro, faced molesting, rape, jumped in a gang, bro, fought, stabbed, robbed, did whatever she could to survive, bro. Had me in her teenage years, bro. You mean to tell me that what I do in my life can motivate somebody like that? Oh, this is bigger than me. And I ain't bigger than the program, but I knew right then that I wanted to be a part of the program. And whatever God had for me, bro, I knew that it was going to have to be through my voice. So even when I got to Africa, bro, I still was kind of quiet, bro, trying to do my thing. But when I got back, so many people wanted to know about my journey that it was time to start telling my story all the way up into my documentary. I was telling my story so much, bro, and this is the power of repetition. I was telling my story so much that the CEO of Chipotle, bro, called my personal cell phone, Monty Moran, bro, and said, "Hey, meet me downtown. I want you to be a part of this documentary we're shooting." Bro, that to me, bro, like that in itself was just, and even I'll be honest with you, even when it was time to shoot the documentary, Z, I still shied out. Bro. I hadn't agreed to this 6 months ago. And when it's time to shoot it, I'm still like, nah, I ain't ready yet, right? I ain't ready, bro. It was my
I'm good. I'm
good, bro. But it was my now fiance that basically, came in and said, if you really want to be the inspiration that you say you want to be, black women, man, they look you in the eyes, man.
They're gonna tell you the truth, man.
Oh, yeah. He said, how you gonna motivate people? How you gonna be a leader if you can't get out there and tell the truth? Man, I got back out there, man. I told everything I knew. Like they had a plate of food on me in the confession room. Like I literally told on everybody. Oh, my mama used to do this. My daddy used to do this. This is how I was coming up. But you need that push, man. You need that push sometimes. But I would definitely say, looking back, my grandma used to always tell me, we had a tornado back in '97 that was real bad. I don't know if you
I remember
remember.
that was 1 year old, man. Well, I don't
Man,
remember. My parents told me about it.
yeah. Somebody told you your story. So,
Yeah.
boom, tree had fell. My papa ended up bringing that tree in the house, bro. It was like a little bushel of that tree, bro. And my grandma said her and my grandpa would sit on the couch while I would get behind the tree stump and acting like I was preaching. Right? I didn't know this story, bro. But still to this day, bro, I got a piece of that wood put on like a statue, bro, to this day, because she told me, you used to act like you was a preacher behind the, we used to just be really there, like, yeah, say it again, and this, and the third. And those small things, bro, those little instances of examples, bro, can carve out the next 30, 40, 50 years of your life, bro, if somebody tell you the truth about who you are.
That's good. That's good. So would you say that for those people that trying to find a voice in a lane and not just being such a broad of saying I'm a speaker,
Yeah.
they need to have people in their life they can tell them their story.
Yeah, they need to have people in their life that can tell them their story, but they don't even got to be that literal story, to see the potential, to see you say something and they're really, really moved by it, right? And most of the time, bro, most public speakers, most people with great advice, you know how they start? They start by their friends calling them with their problems and they can get them good advice.
Yep.
They start with their family calling them or texting them and say, hey, I'm really, really down right now. What do you think I should do? Or, this, and a third. Like, it starts there, bro. But way before you even hit a stage, it starts right. I know for myself, bro. My homies call me, hey, bro, I just met this new girl, man. This. What you think, man? I'm just pouring out wisdom to them. Or, even my own mom and dad calling me about certain things. Like, what do you think about this? And let me get your perspective on this. And you just really, really spitting it to them until you get to a point where you're like, okay, dang, okay, I do got a voice. I do got things that I can say. And I think when you get on the stage, it's different, right? The stage is different from podcasts. It's different from having a mic in your hand. It's different from self-recording yourself because it's so raw. If people don't like what you got to say, bro, you're going to see it instantly. You ain't got to wait on if they're going to like the video or if they're going to comment. Instantly, you know that they don't like what I had to say.
And sometimes what you go up there playing to say, you got to scrap the whole thing sometimes.
You got to scrap the whole thing sometime, bro. You really have to pull a 360, bro, and come out of your full character to go into another one, bro, to really, really relate to your audience. And I'll be honest about my journey, bro. One of my most teachable moments, bro, I was doing a graduation in my mail, right? Graduation class, pretty hefty, 30 people, probably like 500 people in the audience. So I'm doing my thing. I'm telling my story. And this younger guy on the front, bro, he got his dreads, he got his gold jewelry on. He swagged out for graduation, right? And so I'm on stage, I'm telling my story, I'm doing my thing, I'm motivating, I'm inspiring. And homie do this. Like, hey, bro, wrap this up.
Yep, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go kick it.
Bro, I'm 18 now, bro. I'm ready to get outside, bro. So in that moment, right? Of course, when you're on stage, you really can't, allow it to trigger you or anything like that. But afterwards, he came up to me and he was like, man, bro, that was really good, man. Let me get your number. And we exchanged number and we still talk to this day. But that was before I even got to something that relates to him. Right. And a lot of the times, bro, when you're on the stage, bro, you got 50 to 100 to 500 to 1,000, bro. There are different relation points, right? Somebody might relate to the intro of what you said, but not relate to nothing else you said throughout your talk. Some people may relate to the outro, right? Some people may relate into the meat of what you're saying, bro. It's different relational points, and it's a science behind it. And the goal is not to try to carve yourself out to relate to everybody because you never will.
Never will.
You never will, bro. It's definitely a science to being on stage. You got to be able to talk to 6-year-olds, right? And get them that energy and get them to jumping up and down and get them to repeating the same words over and over until they feel like they know what you're talking about. Then you got to be able to talk to, maybe some adolescents, right? That's really trying to find their way in life. And you really, really got to take all your hats off and say, What's up, homie? What we dealing with, right? Sometimes I get on stage and I ask questions. How y'all feeling today, right? Just to gauge the crowd, because people sitting there, bro, they had their coffee and they bored, right? They ready to be bored. They almost like bored is like especially when you're working with career professionals, bored is a normal state to them, right? So my goal for
So they
those
listen to people talk for hours.
PowerPoints and all that type of stuff. So I'm going in there to shake the room up. Oh, y'all, I'm treating y'all like 6-year-olds. Let's stand up. Let's get up. Let's turn around. Let's do this. Let's get up moving. So it's just knowing how to work different audiences, and every audience may not be your audience, right? And everything you say, your audience may not relate to it, right? But the goal is to still say it. The goal is to still say it, regardless if that they don't relate to you, they don't clap for you, they don't like what your tone was, they don't like if you got too loud. The goal of public speaking is to still tell your story.
100%. 100%.
100%.
And you know what I learned over time, bro, is that starting out, you might not know exactly what your lane is. You might not know that you're going to be you're going to focus mostly on mental health. You might not know you're going to mainly be a speaker that focuses on business and entrepreneurship. You might not know. Yep. But over time, the more you do it and the more you get a feel for certain audiences and certain crowds and doing certain messages, you might say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to stay away from this type of speeches. It's not my lane. Yeah. It ain't what I'm good at. Like for me personally, I know for a fact that I'm not going to be in that lane talking about mental health like that. Not because I don't love mental health, not because I'm not an advocate of it, but that's not my forte, so to speak.
And they got people that's their lane.
That's what they do all day long. Their whole brand is mental health.
Yep.
Right? Now, if you ask me to come give a few words or to do something like simple, I can do that, right? Yeah. But when you talk about doing a whole workshop on it, that's not my ministry. Yeah. And I think sometimes, especially young speakers, I've been that guy. You're so busy just trying to get $1 because you can get thin when you start out. You're just trying to get a check. You say yes to every opportunity, and you don't even know that just because it was presented as an opportunity, it might be actually blocking you from what you're supposed to be doing.
From what you're supposed to be doing, and what you're supposed to be doing might have been free. I tell you this, bro. When I first started speaking, I was speaking in backyards. I was speaking at church revivals. I don't even really, I go to church, but I'm really just getting my voice out there, bro. I spoke at a baby shower before, dog. Like no jokes. Like I've spoken at some of the most, like I spoke at birthday party, a 90-year-old birthday party, bro. I've spoken at things, bro. I was really just getting my name and my voice out, right? And I'm just doing it for free. So when somebody, and we can get into this, it's no shame getting into this. So somebody reached out one day and was like, hey, we would love to have you, blase, to be something around Black history, which is my lane. So I'm like, all right, cool. It was at Philander Smith College. I went up and I remember, getting a little envelope, the speaker envelope now. It's like, of course. So they give you that speaker envelope. And so I peeked at it, right? And I didn't just open. I was like, I'm gonna wait, man. I'm gonna wait.
I'm wait to see what's in. I'm see how much is later.
I'm wait to see what's in here. So I'm like, this is like one of my first checks, right? And at this time, to give context, I had just quit my job. I was working at Shorter College. I had just quit my job, bro, to really, really follow my path and my passion. And I told my girl, I said, open this. And it's when they get it right, it's a whole nother emotional level. She opened it, and when a Black woman say your whole first name, right? It's
a reason.
So she was like, Timothy, they did not pay you. No, they pay what? They did not. I said, let me see that. I grabbed the shop like, oh, what? And so at the time, bro, to just give context, bro, we were living in an apartment, bro, and that was enough to pay our rent for 2 months. Wow. And I only spoke for 30 minutes. So we are really turned up. But before I could celebrate, bro, I had this prayer, bro, that I do every morning, bro. And I didn't do it that morning, but I had to do it now. And the prayer just goes, God, thank you for this day that I've never seen and I will never see again. But I'm grateful for everything that it will bring. And I say that prayer of gratitude every morning, bro. And at this time, I didn't say it, so I said it, right, in a moment of humbleness, bro. But I'm really turned up, right? So you mean to tell me for 30 minutes, bro, I can go in there and make what I ain't never seen on a check, like a check stub at a job? Oh yeah, the game had changed, bro. And so instantly, I didn't have nobody do no website. I did my own website. Ain't nobody had to do, I ain't know nobody did no marketing, no flyer. I did my own, bro. So I was mad about it at the time, but really now I don't have to look back or hire a team because I can do my own marketing. I can do my own promotion. I can do my own audios. I can do, and you're self-made in that way too. Where you can do it, you can do your thing, bro. And it just comes from
every job you can think of.
And that's what
job.
And that's what really makes your brand Z something admirable, bro. Because I know when I see you behind that mic, bro, you adjusted it, right? You looked in that mirror and said, my hat on or my hat off. You didn't have nobody else over there saying, oh yeah, your tone is, bro. You really, really are your own publisher. Yep. And so you own the masters to your voice. And so, in the same sense, bro, I wanted to own my own masters in my voice. I don't need a team, right? I really want to get in front of this mic and be able to do my thing. And at that point, bro, things were pouring in, bro. And I was privileged to speak at the U.S. Embassy of Japan. I've been privileged to speak in 3 different countries in West Africa. I've been privileged to speak all around the States, bro. And when I say privileged, bro, like I cannot complain, bro. I got a call last year. And this was probably one of my most memorable ones. I got a call from 4-H. Now, as a kid, I couldn't afford 4-H, right? They had at the YMCA, and the YMCA had a fee. So we was in the hood all day with our socks off playing football.
Like that was the last thing on my mind, trying to
Oh yeah. So
money, you tweet,
man. So boom, they hit me up and they were like, "Hey, we would love to have you come out here and speak." And I'm like, all right, boom, that's my price. And I gotta shout this lady out, man. Her name is Andrea. Like, I gotta shout her out. Like, I told her, like, I'm like, oh, this is my price. She said, not today, that's not your price. I'm like, what? She said, hang up this phone. I'm gonna give you a little time to figure out what your price is. And you call me back with your price, because that's not your price. Bro, it didn't take me 7 minutes. It didn't take me 6 minutes, right? To get that lady a call back and say, nah, this is what we doing, right? This is my price.
This is what it is.
With the serious voice on, nah, this is what we doing right here.
Yeah, I misunderstood you before. This is what it is. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about line 13. You were talking about line 14. Okay, this is my price.
Yeah.
So when I told her my price, she was like, okay, great. I said, well, I got my fiance with me. So, oh, we'll pay for her ticket too. Oh, I got my son with me. Oh, we'll pay for his ticket too. And at that moment, bro, I knew, oh yeah, this ain't just every day. This chosen. This is chosen, bro. Like when you can lay down, like I said, I was working at Shorter College, bro. Just working in recruitment. I used to take my little table and sit up at different high schools trying to get kids to come to school. And I actually did take a liking to it. But bro, when you can negotiate how much you about to charge somebody to hear what you got to say, it's a different kind of oasis of influence, bro. Because in real time, what I've learned, and here's the GMZ, if I really gave you the price that it took for me to get here to be on the phone with you, even negotiating this, you won't be able to pay it.
Yeah,
you won't be able to afford it. You won't be able to afford it. You only paying me for the commentary on dealing with what I did with in childhood, on dealing with what I dealt with in high school, on being poor, on coming up and trying to figure out what's left, what's right, trying to figure out how you gonna make money, being a big brother to 4 little sisters, ain't none of them got no daddy, and you walk them to school, you putting them on the bus, before you go get to your bus, you wouldn't be able to put a price tag on that. And so what you really are getting from me is commentary, right, on the Tim Campbell story, and not the Tim Campbell story, because the Tim Campbell story, oh yeah, y'all gonna be finding a whole lot of different bank budget to get that. And so when I learned it and I seen it from that angle, bro, I'm like, oh yeah, it's chosen. This is a chosen route. And the thing about being chosen is it's not a permanent feature. people lose their chosen status every day.
100%.
And
For one reason or another.
For one reason or other. And people think that, oh yeah, because I'm chosen, that, oh yeah, this is a permanent place I'm gonna be, right? It's like having a last name. It's just permanent. No, you are married to the last name chosen, and you got to uphold everything in that relationship, just as if you were in a day-to-day relationship with this thing. And people lose their status every day, bro. And it's one of the most painful things to lose in your life, when God got his hands on you and you're chosen and you anointed, and you don't act, and you don't give God the full glory of what he deserves to be given in order for you to truly have that status.
That's good, bro. That's so damn good. Oh, that's so good. And we're gonna wrap it up right here
For sure.
because we could talk for 2 hours, fam.
Oh yeah.
I told you 30 minutes, it's been an hour, right? And rightfully so, because you talk about it being chosen, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think a lot of people want strategy on how to go get these engagements and how to be in these rooms and how to be chosen for these bookings, and half of it is connections and reaching out with emails and calling. It is some of it is that, but to be honest with you, bro, it's just being chosen. It's just being blessed enough to be put in a position where people are talking about you and you have no idea to even mention your name.
Yep.
But what are some of your strategies that you use when you're reaching out to certain entities to go speak at their school, speak at their college, speak at their their business? What are some things that you like to do? And I'll share a few of mine, because a lot of people that listen to this show want to know how to get into speaking and how to become a content creator at a high level, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, what would you say are some of the things you do throughout your week, and throughout your your day, that helps you land some of the engagements you get?
I do a damn good job, Z. And that has been my biggest marketing tool, bro. You probably won't believe when I say this, bro. It's very rare. Probably like I can count on one hand how many times I reached out to an organization to speak. I think your best marketing tool is living up to all the hype that people want on bringing you into their stage and in front of their audiences, bro. I think that, after you do a great job, bro, word of mouth is way more powerful sometimes than anything else. And, it's power in the follow-up. And so when I get off stage, I'm following up. Hey, can we do this again next year, right? Because one of the things that I want is annual bookings, right? I want to be able to do this every year, right? Oh, yeah, every year Tim Campbell comes to do this. Every year we got Tim Campbell locked in, right? And so now we just don't got a job, right? We have a partnership. And when partnerships comes contracts, right? And so that's my main goal, bro, is reoccurrence. I want to be the voice that can get in front of your audience on a yearly basis, right? And you trust this voice, bro, to really, really invoke whatever feeling you need them to have every year. And so I definitely would say follow up, bro. After I get off the stage, bro, I'm talking to whoever hired me. Hey, when are y'all doing this again? As soon as I got off the stage at 4H, she said, oh yeah, we got another conference and they have a bigger bag. Oh, great. Say less. Who do I contact? Who do I, oh, well, I'll just tie you in from the inside, this, and the third. Like, doing a great job, bro. And I honestly think that our society has gotten away from doing a great job, bro. A lot of people I've seen, and I'm not being facetious when I say this, I've been to events and programs and seen keynote speakers get their bio read for 30 minutes and they get up there and don't got nothing to say, bro. They have no emotion, right? They didn't use one hand gesture, right? Because like we talked about earlier, they got it all figured out, right? And so now you didn't just speak to people, you intimidated them. So
or you bored the hell out of them.
Or you bored the hell out of them. Or it's like, oh, dang, bro, up here, I'm down here after you get done speaking, right?
Yeah, it felt like you bragged to me the whole time about what you had
the entire time, right? But you got the bag, you got the keynote speaker, you got everything, right? And you didn't have to do a great job. And so I pride myself on, bro, giving. And even if I'm at a small school and they say I got 6 students, Z, I'm gonna go in there with that same energy. If it was 600,
me too, man.
And I think that's a secret that me and you both have, bro. that people have got. I'm just a traditional, bro. Me and your daddy, bro, they know each other back from the 70s, bro. So we know them traditional
Just
routes,
that
bro.
old school way is in us. They get
It's
up
that
and
old,
grind. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man, that old school way of like, I'm gonna just do a good job.
Yep.
And it's gonna come back around, and it has, bro. And when I say I in the speaking lane, bro, like when of course, I would just advise anybody to have them a website. If you're a speaker, right? Most conferences, when they're looking for speakers, bro, they very seldom go to your Instagram page because they probably don't know your name to find it, right? What they're probably doing is either they're getting outsourced from people that may know somebody, or they're typing in speakers near me, right? Or they're Googling speakers in Arkansas, right? So when you're creating a website, right, you want to have public speakers somewhere written in, right? So Google can understand when somebody types this in and they're in Arkansas, you will come up. And so that's one tidbit I can give. And also another tidbit I can give is understanding the business side of public speaking. I think people think it's all about getting on the stage, right? And that is a large part, because that's the part of doing a great job. But I think it's another part of just conducting business, right? Knowing how to negotiate prices, knowing that, if grandma them church wants you to come through and they want you to speak for that church anniversary, right? You're not going to break their neck. And you're not going to break their neck because these your elders, they raised you, right? Someone probably bathed you, and you really going to show your respect. And it's a way to draw that up on the invoice where the IRS will understand that, right? And you will still be able to get your back end. So just knowing the business side of it, bro. And it's public speaking, it has its seasons too. Knowing it's a seasonal thing, right? And knowing, depending on what kind of speaker you are, it depends on what season you may be most called in, right? Or most booked, right? I know for myself, my season is May to September. That's graduations, that's youth programs, that's summer conferences, that's work conferences, that's everything in that lane, right? That's going to happen between May and September. Now, I know in November, December, January, I'm probably going to get in my award bag, right? All the awards, end of year awards are coming up. So just knowing kind of like a schedule of events, right, that are near you, not near you, that you may be interested in, and knowing that, when you go in to a summer youth conference, that speech is going to be different from when you go into a community award ceremony, right?
100%.
So I just think it's knowing the business side of it too. And a lot of instances I've learned, people say, oh, well, if they're not telling you no, then your price is too low. Yes and no. I say
Yes
yes.
and no.
I
Yes
say,
and no.
I say yes and no
You
because,
got to be able to read the room on that pricing, man.
well, like I said, when grandma don't call you from the church and want you to come down and speak to now they not
You
finna
know
pay
she
you.
ain't got no 1,000. You know she ain't
They
got
not
25.
finna pay you no $1,000, $1,500 to come down there and do that. But if they say they got 200, what you gonna say? No, right? And so I think that people say, oh yeah, if they ain't telling you a price, most people don't even talk to people that can tell them no to a price, because let's be honest, bro, most of the people that need the inspiration, need the motivation, most of the time, bro, they don't have the budget, right? But they need the word. So what do you do as a speaker? Like I said, go to timcampbellspeaks.com and I'll teach you how to learn the business side of being a professional public speaker, how to get contracts, and not just contracts, but partnerships, right? I'm a partner with this organization. It's so many ways that you can work that invoice to your benefit. But like I said, go to timcampbellspeaks.com, click contact, and you put your information in, and we can be in contact.
Yeah, man. And guys, we're gonna have all that on there. We're gonna have his website on there, all his socials, ways you can do business with him. We're gonna have all those things in the description below on this episode, man. And Tim, bro, man, like I said, man, you could talk for another 2 hours, fam, and
So
on so many things. We didn't even get to talk about the movie that much. We didn't even get to talk about the Rose Gala. We didn't get to talk about a lot of other things that you got going, man. But just for the sake of time, again, you gave me a great gem to start the show, but give me one more before people get out of here. I love this segment that I call "Food for Thought." All right, where I love to
yeah,
give people a gem and a nugget before they get out of here off the show, something to really sit with them when they leave.
yeah.
What will be one more thing that you would love to tell people before they get ready to exit off this episode?
I would definitely say self-awareness is important, and setting low expectations for yourself is a comfort zone directly linked to the fear of failure. Sometimes the message to yourself is to aim low, perform low, and dodge the fear of the long fall, as they would call it, to the level grounds of inability. And what that simply means is when you aim in low, that's a fear of failure that you have that you really, really got to work with and really become self-aware about. Aiming low is not hereditary, right? It's not something that you just gonna have in your blood. We aim low because we expect to perform low, and if we perform low, then the expectations of greatness are low.
Yeah.
But when you aim high, right, and you perform high, that creates that demands a higher you at all times,
Yeah, and
right?
that can be scary for some people.
And that's scary for some people. But I would just say, life is truly a gift, and when you learn your gift, one of the biggest things you'll learn about having your gift is when you open that gift up that God has for you. Most of the time, it just got gifts with other people's name on it, because what God got for you usually is for you to be a blessing to somebody else.
That's so good. And I can't think of a better way to end it right there, man. Tim, bro, I appreciate you coming on the show, fam.
Hey,
Like,
man, you got a great platform, man.
appreciate
Great
that, bro.
platform. I don't know whoever out there listening, man. SpeakUPZee, man, he so far beyond, man. This man, if I go down his Facebook, man, he has schools, man. He giving out lunches, man. He always doing something in the community, and it's all volunteer. He doesn't have to do it, but he does it because he has a heart for community, man. And the fact that a lot of people don't know that background, bro. They just see, oh, he got 1 million followers. Oh, this video went viral, right? But they don't see you really, around the neighborhood picking up boxes, man, and really putting out fires, bro. So, man, shout out to you, bro, on your platform, man, and who you are as a father, as a man, bro, and as a voice.
My dog, bro. I appreciate that, fam. Like, that's what I try to do, man, and bring on similar people that I respect their platform just as much, right? And you are definitely one of those people, fam. And I just see so much similarities in our brands and even in our stories and our upbringing. That just was like, it was a no-brainer to have you on here, bro. And you've done me such an honor in the past of honoring me and showing love to my platform and having me at your events, being able to share my knowledge. And so it was only right to have you back here, bro. And this ain't gonna be the last time. But for today, you know what I'm saying? Man, y'all be sure to like, subscribe to this video, show love to my dog Tim, follow him on all social media platforms, and go check out all of his amazing services over at Tim Campbell speaks.com. Am I right?
Absolutely. That's it.
All right, man. We're gonna leave it right there. I love y'all, man. Peace.
Peace.
Hey, what's up? This is full-fledged with SpeakUPZee. And I just want to take a quick second just to thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of SpeakUPZee Podcast. And my only goal with this platform is to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you around all things life, business, and mental health, whether it's myself or me bringing on a special guest. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. We don't ask for any type of monetary gains or anything like that. The best thing you could do for us is just like and subscribe to the channel. Until next week, we'll see y'all later. Peace.